straight out of Toledo, Ohio. In today's topic, we're going to talk about commercial fleet trends. There's several of them that I can probably discuss on. There's about 13 to be exact. But we're going to look at probably about 3 of them today. And one of them is going to be about gas management, telematics, and fleet operations, and ordering parts and the vehicles themselves. So let's just dive right on into this and let's get it started. The first trend I was reading about in the fleet management article, State of the Commercial Fleet, was fuel mileage issues. And today I saw on the news that the Saudi Arabians are getting out of making oil. Can you believe that? They're getting out of making oil, but they're going towards biofuel. Now, a couple of years ago, the United States was pushing for biofuel alternative to cars and trucks. And I as a consultant and as a technician, I believe that those vehicles have their place, but overall, I wouldn't trust them. But because to me, I know gas and diesel work. So with that announcement of the Saudis saying that they're getting out of making oil, which makes gasoline, I bet to differ that a lot of fleet managers might be scratching their head of, what are we going to do if that happens? I mean, if they really cut their production from oil to biofuel and fuel alternatives. So if I was a major fleet manager, I'd be concerned about that. And that is the number one thing that the commercial fleet industry is concerned about. They worrying about if they're gonna if fuel prices gonna be low enough. Fuel prices fluctuate. That diesel fluctuate. That gas fluctuate. Biofuel don't fluctuate. It's consistent if you have an electric car, unless you're just paying for your electric bill. But if I was a head of a major fleet department or entity, I would be like, hey, we have to look at some other alternatives to find how to better suit these vehicles. And then that goes back to the automaker, the OEMs, original manufacturers. And they're coming out with a lot of alternative vehicles that will suit some fleet managers' needs. A couple years ago, a lot of fleets were getting small, light pickup trucks because that was economical. They burn less gas, but a lot of those smaller, light trucks could not do the job of a full-size truck. And a lot of full-size trucks suffered until GM and Ford and Toyota and so forth, and a lot of others started revamping the full-size pickup. Ford now has this aluminum steel F-150. I remember I was in an interview for a fleet management job a couple years back, and again I was getting these trends, and it was a panel review, and I was talking to a couple people in the panel, and I was telling them some certain things and some trends. As you know, I am a consultant, and I was telling them, hey, have you heard about the new the new F-150 aluminum body that's coming out that Ford is thinking about bringing out in production? Man, you could have seen them folks' faces. They dropped. They thought I was up here lying. Less than 2 years from there, Ford rolled out F-150 aluminum military grade body. I wish I can go back and talk to them people and look at them in the face and say, I told you so. And I'm telling them right now, I told you so. So a lot of these trends, even though a lot of people may say you can't follow all the trends out there, and as a consultant, I can tell you that you can't follow all the trends out there, because some of them will have pitfalls, just like with telematics. And that's another issue we're talking about with telematics. A lot of folks say, I don't like telematics. It's the big brother trying to figure out where I'm going and everything. Well, if you're going to the booty bar, or, after hours bar and you know you supposed to be delivered at Mrs. Johnson at so and such time, then again, you know, if I'm a fleet manager and I know you got a habit of it, then I need to know exactly where Mrs. Johnson's package is. And I need to know where you are. And I need to know where that vehicle are. Well, because it's not yours. So I used to be a stunt, just totally against telematics until I learned what telematics does, what it's capable of doing, and the limitations and the resources and the reward of using it. Because telematics does have a resources, and the only resources it have is human. If you don't have the staff to train to use the telematics, then it just is, it's worthless. You know, you ever sit down and look at your Windows, and you know Windows Office got all the little, you got